First of all, my name is Lauren Pritchard. Google Austin, Texas. You can find me anywhere. If I've never been like really censored off of YouTube, but by TikTok, like a ton. But if anything happens, the name's Lauren Pritchard. Google Austin, Texas. You can find me somehow, some way. All right. This topic is what is love? Dude, love is violence. Love is actually violence. There are some like major Christian pastors on TikTok that are like, just pray for your enemies, just pray for your enemies, just pray for your enemies. And like the further I watch these videos and I used to be inspired, I'm finally like, well, at what point do you not like retaliate against your enemies? Like, at what point do you not start retaliating? Love is actually violence. In this world, men have been made so weak, it's like insane. It's actually insane. Have you dealt with a prodigal son? You're like kind of like generational curse where they have the spirit of not the mother, but the Jezebel or the whore of Babylon. And it could be within their mother, their grandmother, friends around them or whatever, and they're just like in this like consistent indentured servitude to these women, and it's like they're constantly like hijacking your life, hijacking your life, hijacking your life, and it's like, well, whatever comes from that? Like nothing. And everyone that I know, like in my own predicament, you can see that even in the most like benign situation, with working with the homeless, if you start talking about God, all these other homeless people come around you and they just start like screaming, causing chaos, acting a fool, and like trying to get you to stop talking. Like, and that's just the most benign sense. But if you look at like the scope of reality in your world, everything that God willed for your life, obviously there's some other spirit that tried to come against it. So you need discernment to see like, well, what try to come against that? And it could be major. It could be a marriage. As major as that sounds, it could have been a marriage, like an entire marriage. Like they could have somehow let you frickin' breed with them, and that's insane. And that's too bad. It's too bad for everybody involved when you're somehow allowed to breed with these women, but they've hijacked your life. We have all these sodomites, people that are performing sodomy, and it's like a parasite infesting network. And they're like in your little cult arenas. No cults are good. No super soldier cults are terrible. The Max Spears cult is like so insane to me. I'm like, you are the like weakest people ever because Max Spears was so weak and he followed the weakest woman ever. And these people just glorify Max Spears and they're like, oh, I'm super soldier. I'm supposed to glorify Max Spears. But you people are not realizing that this was like a massive smear campaign to get you to follow Max Spears when in fact James Casbolt was the far superior super soldier. I mean, and you should have seen this in your operations. You should have seen that this man was far more superior in all your operations. And you'd be like, oh, I hate that guy because he, was better than us. You can't hate somebody who's better than you when they're surviving you. You can't just like hate somebody because they're surviving your bullshit. And that's like the problem of this world. It's like people are just like such bleeding hearts for like a low survival dynamic, you know? Like I just look at this culture of like atheism and Subarus and Bolsheviks and like people who are negative and emotionally reactive and whatever. And I'm like, if they just all were in their own arena with each other, like they would all just tear each other apart. They're just like boring. Most of all, you're boring. Islamics, like you're all just like boring. Like you're boring people. And they're falling into such detriment because they do not serve the most high God. Like they're not favored in God's eyes. So instead of finding favor in God's eyes, they're like, I'm just going to run back to my cult. I'm just going to run back to Max Spears. I'm just going to run back to the SSP community. I'm just going to run back to Islam. I'm just going to run back to whatever dumb bitch told me I was the chosen one. Maybe you don't, because you might notice these people are not surviving very well. There's an illusion of survival, but they're not actually surviving very well, because unfortunately, a lot of them were chimeras. And when you mix DNA with a human person, it's not true and it's not real. So when you're steeped in lies and you are like running your life like from a lie, then like you can't resonate with the truth. This is why you keep running back to the SSP community, because you can't find yourself survivable outside of the lies of the SSP community. You become an asset that is so heavily controlled that you can't get out. Human autonomy in this world is more powerful than the asset that you belong to. And the funniest thing is, like, people prop up Drago Reed. Drago Reed, I have never seen to break character. And I have talked to him, and he's like, I am just an asset. And I'm like, holy shit, okay. He's like, I am just an asset. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, okay. Like, he's not interested. And, like, people prop him up, and it's like he's like on a very low survival dynamic. Like, he's not really interested in being a normal person. Okay? And love is violence. We can't coexist naturally. Like, we can't, and I'm not sorry about it. It's true. We cannot continue to coexist in this reality with these people who think this, that, and the other thing, and like it's not aligned with God's will. You're going to live in the reality of the Holy Spirit through the mother, because good moms are actually going to survive this shit. Good mothers. People are complaining that I'm saying this bitch asked for formula from all these Christian churches and all these mosques. And she's like, all the mosques gave her 100% benefit right away. And it's like, because Christians know when you're fucking lying, dude. Christians know when a witch comes into their church. She was a liar, and she had neck tattoos up to her fucking ears. She had demonic ass neck tattoos up to her ears, just trying to promote Islam. So if people fall into such detriment and they just want to go to Islam, then go to Islam. Let them put a hijab over your head. Let them feed your baby and put a hijab over your head. Low survival dynamic. We cannot coexist with this reality of people who have a low surviving dynamic. It's evident and obvious to me that the algorithm right now seems like it's kind of shadow banning us, but I don't think it's shadow banning us. I think it's actually creating a very narrow path to the survivors. So it's actually more sinister. More sinister than you think that you're being shadow banned. No. It's a DARPA technology that the people who are actually seeing your material is because they're actually survivors. And then once in a while, you get some weirdo that's like, we don't actually live in a theocracy, which is like a government under God. And it's like, you actually do, and you don't know it yet. You're a sodomite defending sodomy. If it were up to me and I had the switch, I would pull it on you immediately. Immediately, dude. You're actually living in the reality that women like me want to see happen, because that's God's will. Because God's will is for that of the mother, not the Jezebel, not the sodomites, not the liars, not the psychopaths. What is love? Love is that for the singularity of the man and the woman. You won't survive what you won't survive. You're not going to survive being a Max Spears enthusiast. You will probably survive being a James Casbolt enthusiast. You probably survived being resonant with me because this was the tribe of Dan. This was the tribe that they tried so hard to come against, and it didn't work. Not at all, not whatsoever. They tried to like inspire us to breed with black guys, and we were like, we're not going to do that. Obviously, the juice boxes, they just wanted to ruin white people and black people. But we're not supposed to procreate. We're just supposed to live harmoniously with each other and not procreate. Have kids with each other, not mixing race. Have kids with our own like mind and then like not mixing the other race. We didn't do that. They wanted us to do that so bad, but we didn't do that. And tale as old as time, dude. The Bible is like how God consistently wipes you out. That's the other thing. Like people who are so atheistic or like antichrist, like you don't realize that the Bible is an entire document about how God wipes you out for being a piece of shit, for being a chimera piece of shit. And if you don't mind me saying, if you don't like me, you might get wiped out. If you don't like James Casbolt, you might get wiped out. If you don't mind me saying, like it's probably likely if you don't like me, you might not survive. If you don't like James Casbolt, you might not survive because of the embodiment that we represent. I'm not saying I'm some like cool person. I'm just saying because of the embodiment that we represent, you might not survive. You might not survive that distaste for me or for him. You know, he had said in videos in the past, and I don't know if you could find him, but he was like, if people just like see my face and hear my voice, like they're probably going to resonate and they're probably going to be good. But there's another side to that coin. Like, if you see my face and you fucking hate everything I'm saying, you're probably not going to survive. Not because of me personally, but because of who and what I represent. But I don't walk around pretending like I'm some high and mighty fucking person like all these other weird chimeras do. Because all these weird chimeras in like Max Spear's group, like they have been injected with DNA of false people that are not who they really are, and they have a cult following, and you follow them because you are just like them. You are a chimera. You're not the real person. We were the real people. We were the originals. We are actually the surviving remnant, if you can even believe that. But it's like time and time again, like evidence would prove to me that the worst people ever hated James Casbolt. The absolute fucking worst people ever hated James Casbolt. And the worst people ever seem to hate me. They are bottom feeding, juice boxes, negative, argumentative. They're like, oh, we don't live in a theocracy. You actually do, and you won't find out until the drone hits your head. You actually do, but you won't find out until you're gone. There is like a God's will for this earth, and it was for his creation, not for sodomites, idiots, bad parents, interbreeding to the point where it's not harmonious and kids don't have a sense of identity because their parents are at such odds with each other. This was not the way it was supposed to be. It was never supposed to be like this. This is why there was so much divorce in our parents' generation. They might have needed to do it for a short period of time, but in the future, we're not going to interbreed with I'm not going to interbreed with Islam. I'm not going to have a Muslim kid. I don't think. I'm not going to have a Muslim kid because our cultures are such at odds with each other. And it's no wonder that the satanic agenda was to get me to believe that I was going to have an Islamic Christian kid. It's like an oxymoron because Islam is totally at odds with Christianity. Luciferianism. It's not going to happen, dude. It was never going to happen and it's not going to happen. And I don't want it. And it sounds absurd because we can't coexist. We can't coexist with each other because Islam is steeped in sodomy and lies and liars. And with all religions, juice boxes, they're liars. And and also juice boxes in Islam, they're pedos. They're total pedos, dude. So there's this document from Albert Pike, who is like the head of the Masonic Lodge, and he said that in the end, the Muslims and the Jews are just gonna like ruin each other in the end times. It says nothing about Christians. We're gonna be probably sitting pretty. Maybe not pretty, like we want to avoid the pain of the process, but we can't. So don't be ignorant. We want to avoid the pain of the process, but we can't. So don't be ignorant against juice boxes and Muslims. But Albert Pike, the head of the Masonic Lodge, said in the end, they're just going to let these two groups destroy each other. Sounds great to me. Sounds wonderful to me. What is love? It's a bunch of violence. And throughout history, women have begged their husbands to be more violent. Women have begged their husbands to be more violent for their entire family and their entire offspring and lineage was genocided. Back in Cleopatra's day, she begged Mark Antony to come home because they were all about to die and they all did. Women need men to be more brutal, more brutally honest. More brutally honest. Do not feed into a different archetype other than that of the mother. And just because a woman has kids doesn't make her a mother. Because these bitches have been breeding like rabbits because that's all a part of the agenda is to marry these dudes and have kids with these dudes. It doesn't mean they are the mothers of the authority. There's another archetype that is coming back with authority that is saying this is not the way we want to do things. If you don't mind me saying, being a good mother in this world is fucking easy. It's so easy to vaccinate your kids, send them to school, pump them full of poison, be a woman whose husband cheats on her constantly. It's so easy to be a good mother in this world. But a good mother, an actual good mother in this world, she would probably end up in jail, have her kids taken away from her. Maybe, hopefully not. But she would be in complete distress because an actual good mother would not want to send her kids to public school the way it is now. She would not want to give them vaccines. She would not want to do this. She would not want to do that. She would want to be a fucking bitch. She would not want to do anything other than being a fucking menace. That's a good mother. If you don't mind me saying, there are a lot of good mothers with good kids that are successful, obviously. But another tier of the future of mothers is women who would choose to not. Like, we would choose to not because we'd fucking kill somebody in the process. We would. We'd be like, "Ah, it's a freaking blessing I don't have kids because I'd probably slap some bitch silly. I would probably be the biggest menace ever." And that's not good when you have kids involved. It's not good to be violent when kids are involved, but it might require violence in order for us to have kids again. You know what I'm saying? Like it might require a bunch of violence in order for children to be born again in the upright sense. Not saying that these other kids are not great because a lot of them are, but this new generation of kids, we require a lot of violence in order to allow these children to be safe. Just safe, first of all. There it requires a lot of violence for this next generation of kids to even be safe in America. To even be safe in America, it's going to require a ton of violence. And I'm here for it. And I'm not a bleeding heart about what happens otherwise because bad parents shouldn't have been bad parents. They're going to fall to the detriment. feel like there was something else I was gonna say. Well, maybe that's it for now. All right, check you later. Have a great night.